A lot of people does not know how to fill a Fintrac form properly, and this is required by law, and it will be audited by the Fintrac department every year or every couple years. So if you are involved with money laundering, you will be facing a 5-year jail penalty. So you better know how to properly fill in a Fintrac form. So first I'm going to talk about corporation Fintrac form. On the top, transaction properties, you'll fill in the address. And then you'll fill in your name and your brokerage and the date. So remember this date, you verify your client must be prior to the contract, listing contract or purchase contract. And then on the section A1, you put in the company name and company address, nature of business, and whoever are the directors, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 5, or even more. And then you have to provide corporation documents. Those are the documents you have to provide to verify your corporation clients. Annual report is very important because annual report will tell you if the company is still good standing or not, and also the registration number. You can leave section A2 empty if you already verified the client by using their corporation files. If you do not represent this corporation, the corporation is unrepresented, then you have to complete A3. First question is asking measurement taken to confirm existence. You can also use the same thing, ask the client to provide company registration documents. And then you can answer these questions. Check on the first one, ask unrepresented entity for information to confirm their existence. And the date must be prior than you enter the contract. Number 2, reasons why measure were unsuccessful. If they do not give you the document to verify, then you have to explain here. For your own client, you have to verify if the company is purchasing the property on behalf of someone else. So you have to complete section B1, third-party reasonable measure. So you have to ask, is the transaction being conducted on behalf of third party? Normally, no, but you have to ask, verify. Measures taken. So you can check the first one if the answer is ask if the client was acting on behalf of a third party. And then you have to put a date here. The date has to be prior than the contract date. The next one, reason why measure were unsuccessful. You can leave this one empty if you were not able to get client's information. And the last one, indicate whether there's any other grounds to suspect a third party. If it's no, just check on no. For B2, if your client is purchasing for someone else, third party, then you have to put third party information down here. Section C, risk. So normally, if they're Canadian corporation, then you check the first one. If they're foreign corporation, then you have to check the second one. Section D1, you have to choose what kind of property are they purchasing. Are they purchasing for commercial or residential? If it's residential, you can use the last one, and right here, residential. Now we're going to talk about individual identification. On the first line here, you put in the address. And then you put in your name and your brokerage. And also the date you verified your client. And then you have to have client's photo ID to fill in this information here. And then client's birthday. Also client's occupation. If client is a student, or retired, or homemaker, then you can say here, in bracket, never had a job, or previous job. Then you fill in here if it's a driver's license, or passport. And then you put in a number here. Maybe it's from China, or federal government, Canada, an expiry date. If you cannot verify the client in person, then you have to use section A2 and also section A3. So if you need more detail on that, you can contact me directly. who are not represented, no agency, they have to provide information like Fintrac or photo ID. If you cannot identify the purchaser or the seller, then you have to check here. Unrepresented individual did not provide information, or other reasons why. For your own client, you have to complete section B1. You have to ask if they're buying the property for someone else or for themselves. If it's buying for themselves, then you check on no. If it's buying for someone else, then you check on yes. If your answer is no, then you say, ask if client was acting on behalf of third party. So you ask them. Also, put on a date here. This date must be before you enter contract with your client. You can leave the next one empty because it was successful. If you don't think they're acting weird, then you can check on no here. If you think they're weird, they may be purchasing for someone else, then you have to check yes and explain why. If they are acting on third party, then you have to put third party information here. For everybody in Canada, you have to check the third one. Canadian citizen or resident in high crime area, no other high risk factors evident. Because in Greater Vancouver, everywhere are high crime area. If you think the client has suspicious, then you can explain everything in the blank here. Section D1, you have to choose if the client is buying a residential property or the property if they do not live in, then you have to check property for income purpose. Now we're going to talk about receipt of funds. If you're a buyer's agent and you're collecting deposit, or if you're the listing agent, you're collecting deposit from the buyer, you have to fill in this receipt of funds for Fintrac. You have to fill in the address. And then you put your name here. And the date you received the money. How much you got it. And currency. We do not take any cash from client, so they must use either bank draft or certified check or wire transfer. We do not take any other form of payment. For the purpose, it's for deposit in this case. If the money is coming from a different person than the purchaser, for example, the parents or husband or wife, then you have to explain here in this section. Remember here, if the money is not coming from the purchaser, you have to Fintrac and get photo ID from the person who provides you with the fund. Remember, the money cannot be coming from a corporation without a proper paperwork, like a loan document. On page 2 of Receipt of Fund, you have to complete section D2. Section D2, you have to tell us what is the currency, what is the account number, and also what is the account holder name. If you're the listing agent and you got deposit, please contact me for more information. If you don't understand, please call me directly.